I got some old school goat today since there you go. Since we're 2 weeks into Mariah Carey season, I've got the old school goat here.
You got the Christmas goat. I didn't pull him out
I got
yet.
the Christmas goat.
I won't pull him out of his pen until after Thanksgiving. That's just me.
Yeah, you're one of those. I saw a great meme today on that subject.
Okay.
That said, people complain about, oh, you're listening to Christmas music already, and then the meme said, as soon as you write some Thanksgiving bangers, we won't have to play Christmas music, right at the beginning of November. I'm like, that's
Fair.
legit. Other than the Thanksgiving song by Adam Sandler,
Yeah,
I can't really think of a good Thanksgiving song.
That's fair.
And even that's slightly questionable as a song. It's more of a
it's a
comedy bit. Yeah.
Do you hear that?
No.
Mrs. JC3 is commenting in the Peanut Gallery, says she likes that you support her in your early Christmas music adoption.
Nice. I sure do. Yes. I'm all about the Christmas music. I try to listen. I try not to listen to it like every day so that I'm annoyed by Christmas by it. But I put some on pretty much every day, and I like my vintage Christmas commercials. Those always bring me a lot of joy, and I'll throw that on. But
right.
Yeah, Mariah Carey's a national treasure, so you better respect.
Better respect.
All right. Gosh, it's Wednesday night. Can you believe that? This week is insane.
Yeah, the week has been going by pretty fast.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I don't like it.
I do and I don't. It's that eternal struggle of you never want to wish your time by, right? You only get so much. Yeah. But I'd like it to get to a time where I'm doing more enjoyable things, I guess.
Yeah.
Relaxing things, anyway.
That makes sense.
And yeah, not like I do that anyway, so doesn't really matter. I got years to wait for that, I guess.
It's true.
So what's new with you?
Oh man, football keeps rolling on. 2 games away from a state championship. This Friday we head to a neutral site down in Neenah to watch our West Appear Phantoms take on the Homestead Pioneers, maybe? I think they're the Pioneers. But they are a multi-year perennial state champ. We're going to have our hands full with them.
Interesting. Yeah. That's good. I like to see when top teams play each other. I never understood the whole, stay in your conference, and that's stupid. If you've got one dominant team, like, what's the point of that? If there's no competition.
Well, this is the time of year for that because there's only 4 teams left in each division.
Right.
Everybody's good.
So you think they're going to win the whole thing or what?
I think we have a legitimate shot.
That's not what I asked. That's not what I asked.
At this point, there are a lot of things out of your control that can tilt the scales. All I can tell you is we have all the tools to go the rest of the way. And if things bounce the right way and it comes down to just skill and talent and effort, we should be there.
Are you going to win the whole thing?
My coaching interview coaching has instructed me that I've given you the answer I can give you.
Oh, all right then. Are you still a coach? I thought you quit.
Well, I'm still on staff. I'm not coaching every day, no. But
gotcha.
Yeah, I'm still in the program.
Well, good luck. It's my alma mater, so I'm rooting in the background. I don't care enough to go or anything, but I'm still rooting for their success. So hopefully they get it. All right. I don't have anything like that. Yeah, it's pretty status quo here. Just listing and shipping and listing and I'm trying to build up some customer base on Whatnot and Collects. It seems to be seems to be a little bit more difficult. I don't have a great way to like communicate with the buyers on those two
Yeah.
platforms. Um, whoa, I hadn't really thought about that until like very recently, and then I was like,
Yeah.
hey, how do I get to these people that I'm doing business with, and keep it growing? But
There
I don't
is
know.
not the robust communication channels that we have on eBay, right? Like
Right.
once again, eBay is kind of the champ in a lot of ways.
Yep.
Make no mistake, Whatnot is eating into that a little bit.
Yep.
But I still think eBay's the champ overall.
Yeah. I think we found some other fields to play on, which I really like. Just
Mhm.
to add some diversity. There are definitely things I sell on those two sites that I don't sell as well on eBay.
Yeah.
So it's nice to be able to be in all three spots.
Mhm.
But never has it ever crossed my mind where I'm like, oh, I don't need eBay anymore. you know. So I mean, maybe someday, I don't know. But there was a little bit of Discord chat about Shopify, which I thought was kind of interesting. So, um, and I run a Shopify store outside of cards, so we'll see. That's where I'd like to build like an actual website to sell on.
Okay.
Um, my thought on that, like the websites, unless you have like a big following or your Cards HQ or some crap like that. Um, the only way you can really do it with having your own website is you have to have a crap ton of cards.
Mhm.
Because essentially, the only real way to get sales on there is if anybody who visits can find something.
Yep.
Because your traffic's going to be less. You're not going to be, things aren't going to be promoting you and stuff like that. So you have to have like a million cards. So essentially, anyone who visits would find something. I don't have that kind of inventory yet, so I think it's something to build towards.
Yep.
You go through these stages of growth, right? And I built up my first store. It's pretty much done and ready to go, other than continuing to list the inventory to fill it up. And then second store is growing fast and the non-sport stuff. So it's like, what do I do in the next phase? And it just seems to make a lot of sense to
Sure.
go there, because building on Whatnot Collects is basically just a result of whatever I do on eBay. To be honest with you, I'm not
Yeah.
doing anything individually there. So
Yep.
I just consider those part of the eBay project.
I'm enjoying, the cross listing to the other platforms. All the little nagging problems aside, of having to sometimes reconcile your inventory and things like that. But it's been a nice little additional revenue stream, right? We've been talking this past week about volumes being down, sales being
Mhm.
down, which is not all that unexpected. We've been talking about that
I
for
totally expected it.
for
Yeah.
a month now. Yeah.
Yep.
But I was looking at the numbers, and I'm only looking at eBay numbers, right? And I was like, well, wait a
Yeah.
minute. Let me look at my collects and whatnot numbers and factor that in. And when I did that, my overall numbers are really only down a little bit.
Yeah. Same.
Um,
Yeah.
so it's really helped keep things whole, if you
Yeah.
will. I'm building up some return buyers now on collects that, hey, some of them maybe just come back every month when they get their collects credit. I don't
Hmm.
care. I'm
Yep.
happy I'm the one they spend it on, right?
Right. Right.
Whatnot. I get 2 to 3 orders a week on there, which isn't a lot. I get it,
Yeah.
but it's starting to get consistent. So that's once you start building some consistency, then you start snowballing up into more volume, right?
Yeah. And I'm kind of the opposite of you. I definitely do better on Whatnot than I do collects.
Okay.
Um, but I sell a lot of non-sport, which is kind of funny. Um, I sell more non-sport than I probably do anything else on both of those platforms, for that matter. A lot of Star Wars stuff. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But you're right. I kind of forget about that too. And I look at my main store and I see where the sales are and I'm like, oh, it's done. And then I'm like, wait, I have another store plus collects plus whatnot. So yeah, you really have to, there's more to look after,
Right.
to get an accurate picture. But we should start seeing like more of the holiday boom, pending recession effects. I don't know. For
Mm-hmm.
this holiday season. I mean, the retailers are definitely expecting sales to be down this year and things like that. So, um, rates have dropped. They've done a few rate drops, which is good on the prime side, but it just hasn't really affected anything like major yet.
Right.
So we'll see. I think there'll probably be a couple more rate drops this year, or at least one.
Probably. Oh, I did get my card back from AGS, the robo
Oh yeah,
grading this week as well.
yeah.
The slab looks pretty decent. The holder is okay. It's nothing flashy. It's pretty plain, which is all I want, honestly, in a holder, and a slab to put up on the shelf. Especially in this case, just a PC thing. I'll go to the single view for a minute, just to show it a little easier. But this is the slab as it came back. So pretty standard. You can see the labels nice and clean. Now you see that rough grade they gave me there too. There's the back of the label. But yeah, they gave me a 7 on this card, mostly for the edges. They gave me a 3 on the front edges, which I still don't understand. I messaged them, their customer service department acknowledged it and forwarded it on to their operations team, and I haven't heard anything back from them yet. But it'll be interesting to see what they say. I'm not overly worried about it. What I will be looking for in the response, though, is going to determine, do I give them another try with something, or was this a one and done?
Now that's graded by AI though, right?
Correct.
So I wonder what AI was looking at.
Well, like we looked at last week when I shared the laser imaging from
Mhm,
it, the card was turned in the images.
mhm.
So I don't think it looked at the true edges of the card.
Okay.
Yeah. And clearly they do not have a human doing quality control at the end of it.
No, I mean, I think the next successful card grading company that's actually can compete in the market is going to be the one that nails down the no human needed
Yeah.
process. You can get through stuff a lot quicker. It should be a lot more consistent.
Yep.
Should be cheaper, right? So, um, you could provide more locations to do the grading or have like vending machine grading.
Yeah.
Um, that's definitely where the future would be in my eyes
Yep.
for the
Yep.
change. So yeah, I don't know, and maybe that's kind of the thing with them is they're like, well, let's just try to get this thing started and see if we can build the AI to like a real tool,
Well,
and then
that's why I think
we'll
there
look
would
at
still be some human quality control because it's still
yeah,
emerging technology in my eyes. I wouldn't
yeah.
think it's anywhere near ready to be trusted 100% to AI.
Well, true. I don't trust humans either, though. So, um,
I mean, I
well, I mean, it's a
understand.
fair point, right? Like, I don't.
Yeah.
Depends on which grader you get and how their day is going, and like, there's no,
Yeah.
I don't know. The AI model probably just needs to get a better sense of what all the requirements are and
Right.
figuring that out. Like if a car gets turned, okay, well, this isn't how it's supposed to look, or
Right. It's got to
you know,
learn all that. And that's where that quality check at the end still has a lot of value.
mhm,
Like I trust the process of how to assess a grade on a card,
yeah.
but you have to make sure the operation works successfully. And in this case, I feel like it clearly didn't.
Yeah, and
I
they
think
may be like they may have quality control where they just like check to make sure the slab is sealed well and that kind of
yeah,
thing, and just don't follow up on the grade part of it
on the
and just
digital
assume
side, yeah.
right, just assume like their AI is
I don't
meeting the
know.
requirements. I don't know.
I think anyone experienced in cards would hold this slab in their hands and say, what is wrong with this? You
Right.
know? Um, a
But I know
9
of lots and
wouldn't
lots of
question.
PSA graded cards that people say the same thing, right?
I don't know this drastic though. Um,
Mm. I don't know, some of them.
you know.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's tough to grade them on one card, right? Like you
Yeah,
have to kind
exactly.
of. We
Exactly.
need a better sample.
Yeah.
um, you know what? Maybe I should send something in too, and we'll kind of keep working on it. What did they
Yeah.
charge you for that? Was it 15 or something?
I think 15 is the base, and then just because it was new, I did all their extra services, so it ended up being
Oh
like
yeah,
$20. Yeah. Yeah. And then $4 to ship it, of course. So
right.
um
See, and that's not that competitive in the market. Like, it's not a huge advantage in the market versus like a PSA. So
yeah.
they're gonna have to get a little bit more aggressive with the pricing to try to dig into, if that's their
Yeah.
goal.
Yeah, you're right. And then I think the
Like
other
if they could do
thing,
it for like $8 or something, I mean, whew, they would, they'd really have something.
yeah.
If you could put them through fast enough and not have to hire a bunch of humans, yeah, you should be able to do it for that.
Well, and we talked about that a little bit too, is that in order for them to do it cheaper, they would have to kind of cut some corners in some other areas, right? And
Yeah,
one of the things we noticed was their packaging a little bit. So I think we're all kind of very accustomed to PSA packaging, which comes in this nice PSA logoed square, like 5x5 box.
hmm,
It's really nice packaging. Um, this was not how this came back. Let me see if I can get one up on the screen here. There you go. So this is how it came. Just a bubble mailer rolled over on itself. Really nothing special. But I'm okay with that if you're going to have lower cost services, right?
yeah. That's how I
I
ship
don't
out
need.
PSA graded cards when I sell them. I just put it
That's
in a
how you
bubble
do it.
mailer.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, this is normal for us to ship something that way, but I don't
yeah,
feel like it's normal for a grading service to ship
yeah.
that way.
I mean,
And then
if they charged you $4 shipping, it's probably about right on.
yeah, and then this is
You
how
know,
it was inside, wrapped in bubble wrap again. So it was
sure.
bubble wrapped inside of a bubble mailer. It definitely was safe and secure.
Yeah,
I don't have an issue with the packaging. I completely trusted the safety of my item in there. I'm just saying, I think a lot of people would have trouble with that because it's not
yeah.
what they're accustomed to getting from PSA and some other services.
I bet they put them in a box if you do more than like 3 or 4 though.
Yeah, you're probably right.
They probably were like one card, it goes in a bubble mailer, no big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think you made a valid point too in that I probably gave them kind of a tough card to grade for the first one. It's all black. It's full bleed photography on it,
Mhm.
and it's of the solar eclipse, right? So,
Yeah.
you look at that image, that might be a tough test for their robo grading right off the bat.
Yeah, and
And
even, like, inside the border there at the bottom, right, it's got, like, all these lines that are at an angle, so it's like, well,
yep,
is this part of the
yep.
card, or is that the edge of the card, or
So I would
um
kind of like to send a normal sports card in just to
yeah.
compare.
Yeah, I think that's probably a wise move, but, yeah, the pricing doesn't, especially since there isn't really gonna be any added value yet to
Yeah.
grading with them,
Hmm.
they probably need to take a little bit more
Or
aggressive
even one of
pricing
my
approach.
Marvin the Martian PC cards, send them that way
Yeah,
graded.
Kakawau. Mhm.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, because you need to get those graded anyway, so they stay nice.
Yeah, that's my whole intent in grading, is just to encapsulate it and keep
Yeah.
it, in good condition, because they're gonna be on a shelf. I'm gonna move at some point, or even just move them around the house. And it's a grading is not just about investment. It's also
Right.
about the card protection.
Yeah, for sure. Should
Yeah.
be anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. I my dream is still to see one day where you just have machines where you walk up, stick a card in it, and it puts a flip in it and kicks it out. Like
That
I,
would be
I know
amazing.
that's I know that would really cause like the junk slab era. Because people would just grade all kinds of stuff, but so what? If we're working more in the graded card market, with less
Yeah.
fraud and less, like that's not a bad thing necessarily.
Right.
So, and I still think, if the pricing is, high enough, gone are the days where you're just going to grade every base card, right? So
Yeah.
I still don't see like that coming back. And part of that was because for a while, um, you could grade with PSA for $8, right
Yeah.
before the big boom. So a
Right.
lot of people got in and were doing, 100, 200 card orders of these $8 cards. And yeah, I mean, why not send everything in if you're going to get tens?
Yeah.
So yeah, well, that's cool. I'm glad you got it back and it's in good shape. And so we'll have to let us know how they reply to your inquiry.
Yeah. Well, why don't we jump in a chat real briefly here, just to say
Sure.
hello to a few folks before we get into some topics we thought we'd talk about tonight. Susie's here from Australia.
Good
She
day.
says, "Good day, guys."
That's my Australian. That's all you get.
Designated Heckler is here. Happy Wednesday.
Welcome, welcome.
Susie says, "Happy Thursday morning there in Australia." That's right. They're
Oof.
ahead of us.
Yep, it's tomorrow.
You can
It's
literally
tomorrow
be a
today.
time traveler.
Yes.
Daryl Valley says, "Hey guys, oi, oi, oi. Wanted
Nice.
to know if you avoid grabbing cards on teams that don't have a winning history. I know every team has had at least one good player in its history."
It's funny. I was just explaining this to someone today, kind of how I price a card, right?
Yeah.
Like how I try to figure out a margin I would get, and I kind of start with a base price, and then I sort of add or subtract to it depending on what else is going on in the card. And one of the things is what team is the player on.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, if they're on the Dallas Cowboys, they get some bonus points. If they're on the Packers, they get some bonus points because
Sure.
there's just big collector markets for that stuff. Steelers, that kind of thing. Um, you know, baseball, it's pretty easy. Dodgers, Yankees. um, there's certain teams that just kind of
Celtics,
get a little bit more.
Lakers.
Yeah, Celtics, Lakers, 90s Bulls, stuff like that. Um, so I wouldn't say that I would avoid grabbing a card, but it wouldn't get the bonus points, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yep.
So I think of it sort of like think of like a home appraisal, right? So I go in to look at your house and appraise it. The only thing I can go by is the values of other homes that have sold, right? Because that's the definition of, value is what will somebody buy it for? So I have to go, okay, well, this house has this or doesn't have this compared to these other houses that sold. And
Mm-hmm.
then if yours has something and another one doesn't, you get bonus points for that. If yours is lacking in something the other one had, you get less points or dollars in
Right.
that case, right? Value dollars. That's kind of how I do it with cards, and that's done me pretty well. So sometimes I'll pay more aggressively on something where it has all the bonus points, more liquid card as it's more commonly known. So yeah, right now, Otani, Freddie Freeman, Clayton Kershaw, like, all these guys from the Dodgers, Sasaki, Yamamoto, Will Smith. I sold a bunch of Will Smith cards this week. Not the actor, the baseball player. Um, so, and I was buying those guys all season long because Dodgers sell and they're always there
Yeah.
at the end of the season. Same with the Yankees. They didn't get quite as far this year, but they're still, all season long, they're good enough to compete, right?
Yep.
So I wouldn't say like there's where I'd look at, oh, this player's for the Bengals, toss that aside. Nobody buys Bengals cards. I wouldn't do that, but they wouldn't get any bonus points for that
Yeah.
team.
I like the way you explain that because I agree. I wouldn't avoid players from, teams that don't have a winning history. But really, I focus on players first, and then the teams I love the way you said they get bonus points, right? So,
Yeah.
And I would explain it a little bit different from there, but I think we mean the same things, and is that it gets bonus points because they have a much bigger market.
Mhm.
There's Dallas Cowboys fans everywhere, right? There's Packers fans everywhere. And they make up a bigger potential selling pool, so the market can be more competitive with those cards versus I guess it doesn't matter who I say, it's going to piss somebody off, but let's say it's a Cleveland Browns card, which
I went with the Bengals, so
Jim Brown is probably the only player I would actively seek out for the Cleveland Browns, but doesn't get the bonus points because there's not a ton of people out there saying, hey, I want to get all the legendary Browns, or I want to complete a set of the Browns of this year and that year, right? Because they don't have that winning pedigree.
Mhm. And you're right. There are, he kind of points out. I know every team has, at least one good player. That definitely would trump some of that too. So like Joe Thomas rookie cards, I buy those. Bernie Kosar 86 tops rookies, I buy those. I find them in 50-cent boxes and stuff.
Yeah.
There's market for those two guys. Jim Brown, like you said, I'm picking on the Browns too here. So yeah, I wouldn't just turn my back to any Browns card, but they would have to have. They would probably need some bonus points in some other areas
Yep.
to get
For
through
sure.
the selection process.
Yep, I think we agree on that.
Sometimes those are the sneaky money makers though too, because like you'll get a not big name Browns player, but it's a card numbered out of 10. From a
Right. Yep.
from a popular parallel set in the 90s or something like that. Like, dude, and you found that in a 50-cent box or $1 box, like that's
Yep.
because you get the rarity bonus points in that case.
I love picking
So
those up.
yeah, so bonus points can come from all kinds of different areas. So I think it's smart to just kind of have your base where you're like some unknown player from a Browns team that didn't win any games. Well, they're way at the bottom of the pile.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go rare 90s insert. Well, that gets a good amount of bonus points because there's a huge market for that. And then serial numbered. Okay, you got this, right? So autograph on it. Like you have to kind of have like a platform and then just sort of add or subtract from there, depending on what's going on.
Yep.
It's serial number, but it's jersey number. Well, there's a couple more bonus points.
Yeah.
There's a lot that can play into that one.
Yep. Designated Heckler says Joe Namath guarantees Charlie's victory. I like it.
Again, on my alma mater, so I'm not going to argue it. I think they can do it.
So we in our state, I don't know about every other state, but in our state, the state championship game gets played at Camp Randall at University of Wisconsin. So it's kind of a big deal to be able to.
It's kind of interesting. That's the only football that'll be played there this year.
Yeah. Well, good football. Yeah. So, and it would be an interesting experience for me too. Not only would I get to be, down on the field, but I work up in the booth, so I'll also get to go check out the booths that, up at Camp Randall, which is a place I've never been in. I've been in their workout facilities. I've been in their weight rooms. But I've never been on the field itself and never been up in the press boxes.
Yeah, I've been to a few games. I don't think I ever went into one in the press box, but the years when they have a good team, it's a very hopping place. Like it's a fun place to be.
Like I've been to
College
some
football,
games, but I never got on the field.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Yeah.
So
hmm Yeah.
yeah, that'll
So
be fun.
should be great. Susie says, I requested to become a seller on Whatnot. I haven't had a reply.
Yeah, Whatnot's kind of being flooded right now. They've really grown. So I would just hang out, wait for a bit. They'll send you something, I'm sure. Um, they're not, unless there's something terribly wrong with your application. They're not like super selective, or you got to have so much, transaction somewhere else, or followers on a YouTube or something like that. They pretty much let everybody in,
Yeah.
um, and give you a shot. So that's the good news. So you
Yep.
should hear something. I would say it's going to take at least 2 weeks before you really hear anything to get in. And I don't even know what they do with onboarding now. I had to watch like a video and do like a training series with a bunch of other people that were getting in, because it was a few years ago. I don't even know if they require any of that anymore, but I'm sure they'll let you know.
Yeah, I think the training video is still there because when I signed up, I don't know, is it 6 months ago now? They still sent me all the emails and stuff about take this and take that. You didn't have to go through them to get an account, but they encourage you to go through them before you start live selling and stuff.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, see, I had to schedule like an appointment. So I had a live person that worked for Whatnot.
mhm.
And they scheduled like a group of us to do an onboarding at once.
Yeah,
And
I
it was a
didn't do that.
live thing. So I had to like, let's say it was 2 o'clock. I had to log into this Zoom call or whatever it was at 2 o'clock, and they went through a bunch of stuff, and then I had to answer a few questions, and then I was in. So
Yeah, none of that
it
for
sounds like
me.
they've updated their process a bit, but they'll let you know. You'll be in soon, I'm sure.
Andrew McGovern is here. He says, hello, guys. Long time no chat, but still watch your show weekly on demand. When you have an order of 15 plus low end cards, do you send out in multiple envelopes, even if one order?
No.
Absolutely not. That's one of your biggest
No.
money makers there. That's how
Yeah.
you get your margins.
Well, what he's saying is, instead of sending out a package, do you just send it as like 2 or 3 envelopes, which would be cheaper in theory.
Oh, I would send 15 cards in one envelope.
He's saying 15 plus. So like if it's over 15, where you couldn't do an envelope, he's saying, would you do like 3 envelopes then or
And
something?
what I'm saying is you're limiting yourself. The eBay 3 pocket is rated up to 24 cards.
Okay, fair enough. So what do you do if it's over 24 cards? Do you send it in multiple envelopes, or do you send it as a package?
All right, now you're talking. I would send it as a Ground Advantage package.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Because you have to remember too, you want to look like a legit business, and you can't like Charlie. We just talked about packaging and how he was
Yeah.
unimpressed with this brand new company he did business with, and how they packaged his card. That's how you got buyers buying, 30, 40 cards from you. You kind of want to do the best you can, because you'd like that guy to come back. Those kinds of sales that you're really after.
And people generally do not want multiple deliveries of their order. They
Right.
don't want it split up.
The only exception I would make to that is, let's say they placed an order for 10 cards and then placed another order for 10 cards. You could ship each one in an envelope of 10 cards because they were separate orders.
You could, but even there, I put them together typically.
Yeah. Because then you'd be at 20, and if you don't want to mail 20 as an envelope and want to do a package, it will cost you more then, of course. But certainly within one order, you wouldn't want to do that. Plus, you got to you got to have tracking. So I don't like printing multiple envelopes and only some cards going in and some don't. You got to have different tracking numbers, all within one order. I think it would be a lot more hassle too to try to do it. So just suck it up and go, yep, I got a good size order here. It's $4 to ship it, as a package. You also get a little bit better quality delivery and tracking.
You do.
Which matters, because obviously if they bought more cards, it was a bigger dollar order. So you might want that like bubble mailer protection and a real scannable, USPS tracking number, where you can go to USPS and track it, not just an eBay. And like you get a little bit of value for that too. Plus you get, I think, a higher amount of insurance too.
Yeah, I think so. And a little bit of
So
foreshadowing, that extra little focus on tracking will make a big difference on one of our topics tonight. So
mhm.
we'll do a couple more chats here and then we'll get into some of that. Susie says very rough grade on the solar eclipse. I agree. I think that's an oops grade. I'm really interested in hearing back what they have to say.
You should get it. You should cross it now. Like send it to BGS or PSA or something
Yeah,
and see what they say.
yeah. I don't really want to put that much more money into it.
I know, but just like the project part of it would be fun, right? Yeah,
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
you'd definitely just be tossing money at. Well, maybe not. What if you send it to PSA and you get a 10? That's probably worth the $20 then.
It's still a Tops Now solar eclipse card. There's not a big market for that.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, that's true. Although generally the Tops Now, because they're printed to demand,
Yeah.
usually 80% of the market that would be interested in that card already has one.
Right. They just ordered one. Yeah. That's true. You got to kind of wait your time on that one, right? Maybe you'll get something later on.
The Lady Sparkler Smash is with us, and
Wow.
I can't even tell what all those icons are. It looks like a couple of wine
So it's like,
glasses.
I think it's firecracker, 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 newspaper,
That's what
wine
I
glass,
thought.
wine glass. That's what I get out of it. So
I think it's code.
for what? I have no idea.
That's right. All right, JQW is here. Happy Hump Day, everybody. Hope y'all doing good.
Yeah, welcome.
Johnny M, not to be confused with Johnny 5. No disassemble.
Johnny 5 alive.
Johnny's here right off his first Whatnot live selling experience. He says, "Evening, fellas. What's good in the hood? Johnny, I stopped in for a minute on my lunch break just to check it out. Looked like you were doing great. I'm sorry I couldn't stick around too long, but I did want you to know I stopped in, and I think you did very well for your first one."
Congrats. It's tough getting that first one in, right? There's a lot to do in a live show. You got to set it up. You got to have all your cameras. You got to kind of know how you're talking about things. You got to hit the run it now, and it's mark everything when there's a buyer and ship it out after. It's a little bit more than just listing it and letting it sit in a drawer. So respect that you're giving it a shot, and
Yeah.
hopefully you enjoy it. And if you don't have to do it. You definitely have been successful doing it the way you were doing things before too.
Yep, absolutely.
So yeah, go for it.
All right. Well, we got some of the niceties out of the way. We'll come back to chat a little bit later, but what do you say we talk about eBay's new savings account program?
Sounds like something the federal government would come up with. So, okay. First of all, there was a lot. Let's just go over what we're actually talking about here. So,
Yeah.
There was a topic that got kind of fired up on the Discord. By the way, if you're not on the Discord, it's coming along the bottom here, the link. So join our Discord. It's free, good chat. Provides a lot of topics for us on this live show, so it's a great source for us too. But there was some kind of misinformed chat on there about, eBay is going to start withholding seller payments and until customers receive cards and blah blah blah, which is not true. We did a lot of diving into that, Charlie and myself, and I found nothing to that indication from eBay. I think what they're going to be doing is withholding payments until items are received when it's a new seller. I'm kind of surprised they didn't do this a long time ago, to be honest with you. Because it'd be pretty easy to just like open an eBay seller account, scam a few people, and close the account and run away, which I'm sure has happened. So I think that it's a good thing, and most platforms do it that way. Okay, so like Whatnot, for example, that we were just talking about, their requirements are pretty high actually to be able to get instant payouts. So you have to have 1,000 items sold. You need to have 16 live shows, completed, and be in excellent standing. All the other things that you would assume have to be there, and then you can get payouts, before shipments are received. So I think eBay, doing it until you get, I don't know, 20 completed transactions. I don't even know what the requirement will be, but um, it should be something like you complete this many transactions and things look good. Now you can get your scheduled payouts, because it was funny because the day somebody posted about this and like, oh no, eBay is going to hold our payments now. I literally got a uh, email from eBay asking if I wanted to take early payouts.
Yeah.
Have you seen the express payouts? Do you
Yes.
ever? So you get notices for that once in a while. I'm assuming like you get it.
Hmm.
So I literally got one that day. So I was kind of chuckling because I'm like, huh, they want to withhold your money and they want to pay me faster. So maybe I'm doing something
For a
right.
fee.
Yeah, even though they don't want me to sell live because God forbid. Um, but anyway, so I don't see what the motivation would be to go to that, because it's not a big problem. It's not like all these sellers are being paid and they're not shipping stuff. Like, that's not a real thing.
Right.
You don't hear a buzz about that. It's not, there isn't a big epidemic of that for whatever reason happening. So, the sellers that have been around a long time, good standing, complete their transactions and stuff, there'd be no reason for them to change that, especially since they're offering express payouts. Like, it's complete
Yeah.
opposite.
So it's true that new sellers are going to experience that, but it doesn't totally exclude long-term sellers either. There
Yeah.
are ways you can get added into that program as a long-time seller as well. Things like long handling times where you're not meeting, your service requirements that you chose to begin with.
Yeah.
Lots of disputes and cancellations. A big spike in sales volume. Let's say you're normally selling 20 cards a week, and all of a sudden, overnight, you spike to 200. That's going to flag you for possible algorithm fraud, and they may put a hold on your payments while they investigate that. So it's
Yeah, I
primarily
heard
for
for shill
you.
bidding too. Like, if they suspect
Yeah.
shilling, they're not going to let you get paid. They have to investigate it or whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's probably something that's a tad overdue on their part. It was sort of the Wild West, a bit as far as payment services go.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the day, everybody paid by PayPal. That was how eBay payments happened. And then when they went to like eBay managed payments or whatever, um, that was the first time where it was like, oh, you don't get your money the second the person checks out. Now they hold it and you can get paid the next day or the next week or the next month, or however, like Charlie said, however you decide to set that up.
Yeah.
But there's no indication that any of that's going to change unless you can assume that if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, they're going to take some kind of action. They should. Like, that's the whole
Right.
point, right? They're the
Right.
escrow agent in the transaction. So if you as a seller are screwing it up, they're going to be like, hey, we got to slow this down, because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, handling times or missing shipments or whatever it is. So
Yep.
let's just, I kind of look at it like, as I'm banking for a long time, and I used to always get the question, well, how do I get a higher credit score? And I'm like, well, it's pretty simple. You borrow money and you pay it on time.
Yeah.
Like, those are the two things you can control. The rest of it you can't. So just do that, and then you should have there's no reason for you not to have a good score.
Right.
Like, this, that was back in college when I didn't pay that, and blah blah. I don't care. Like, you didn't complete the agreement. It should lower your score. Like, that's legit what it's for. So,
Yeah.
um, do your things. Have a decent handling time. Ship stuff out. Complete your transactions. Respond to customers when they message. Do all the things you should be doing, and eBay's not going to have any reason to withhold anything from you.
So let's say you are affected by this, Adam. Maybe your service levels have dropped, and they've said, "Hey, hold on until you get this fixed. We're gonna hold your funds until they're delivered as evidence you've made changes." How does that affect you as a low end card seller?
It sounds like you're reading that off a prompt. Um, Yeah, I mean, it depends. If you need that money right away, sure, that would be a problem. I never really look at it that way. I take daily payouts because the reason I have it set up that way is I like to follow the trend, and to me, it's better to follow the trend when I do it day by day versus week by week or month by month.
Sure.
Um, but if it took like 3 more days before I got that money, it's not going to be the end of the universe. They used to speaking of that, there's something that has changed there too, because they used to, like, let's say you got a bunch of sales on Friday, Saturday morning they would send that payout out, right?
Yeah.
When you were on daily. They don't do that anymore. Now they hold it through the whole weekend and they send the payout on Monday, which doesn't really matter because if they sent the payout on Saturday, you wouldn't get it till Monday anyway because the Fed, the ACH system isn't operating on a weekend.
Yeah.
But I did notice that because I would get like, okay, it was a couple $100 on Friday that was supposed to send on Saturday. No problem, I got it. And then I had that many sales on Saturday. Okay, it's a couple $100 on Sunday that's going to get sent to me. Now it's like on a Monday I get $650 or something,
Yeah.
which is not the results of one day's worth of sales from that store. So you have to your business model needs to account for some things being changed that could adversely affect you. And if you're like, well, I can't wait 2 days to get my money, that's you do not have a very solid business. So,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of people take a weekly payout anyway, so it kind of doesn't matter, right? Because like within a week, it's going to get delivered.
Well, not necessarily. So I do a weekly payout as well. But if you think about the withhold model, if it's waiting until it's delivered, um, I think we're all familiar with sometimes things take a week or two to deliver.
Mm,
Sometimes tracking is held up.
sure.
And I think that was the big concern a lot of people in the Discord had is, oh, with the history of the tracking, this is going to be bad. But it could easily be 2 weeks before your funds are deposited. So I think there is an impact that can happen for some people. I think of small sellers who are trying to and scale up using just their dividends basically and not putting fresh cash in all the time. So they're
Sure.
waiting for those payouts so they can go out and get some more inventory to start building. So that could be an impact I could see for some sellers. But in general, Adam, I agree with you that even if they did that for all of us, I don't feel like I would feel a huge impact from that it would really make me consider leaving eBay or anything like that.
Yeah.
I think what you can do to make sure you don't run into it is make sure you're getting tracking uploaded immediately. Make sure you're minimizing canceled orders and errors in your listings and things like that cause you to do that. Watch your service level metrics and make sure you're staying within your guidelines. Your handling time. If you set up 1 day shipping, make sure you're doing 1 day shipping, right? And
Oh,
you're
I
just not.
do. Yeah, and I think the other thing is, if you're not doing this now, start making sure you have best shipping practices, right?
Yeah.
Because, like you
Mhm.
said, well, it takes 2 weeks to get delivered, or it shows undeliverable, whatever it is. Well, sometimes that's on the seller side too. Like,
Yeah.
make sure you put it in a number 10 envelope with good protection, and have use labels so it's the right address on there and it's not sloppy handwriting, and put enough postage on it and blah blah blah. If you do those things, that should reduce your wait time to get the money too.
Yeah.
Should that come to pass. I don't I still don't see any reason why they would do it with you know good standing sellers. It makes no sense.
I agree because that's kind of a
So,
perk that most companies offer, right? Like, you do good by us, we'll do good by you.
and they can still debit your account if something happens to an order.
True.
Uh, so it's supposed to be delivered in 2 weeks, and the customer says, "Hey, I never got this," and you look at tracking and it never went anywhere. They can file a claim, and you're still gonna have to deal with it, or they take the money back. So it's not like you're scot free if there's problems anyway if they pay you right away.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So all in all, I think we both are saying it's not too much to worry about if you find yourself in that situation for some reason. Just figure out why you might have been put into that category and figure out what you got to correct to get out of it.
And I think too, if you're hearing it from somebody who's like, "Well, I've been a seller on eBay for blah 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 years, and I have good feedback and blah blah blah." Well, have they not sold for a year? Anything
Yeah,
for a year? Like there's probably other stuff to it, and there might be some sort of measurement in there that's like, well, you haven't sold anything for a year, so now you're back on the new
sure.
guy plan of, you
Consistency
gotta,
is a thing.
yeah, you gotta get some business again before we're gonna give you automatic payments. And, so yeah, I don't know. I think that was a lot of fear for not much result.
Yeah, yeah. All right, we'll jump into a couple more chats here before we jump into another topic. John Panko says, fellas, I've seen an uptick in sales of 90s cards, mainly from basketball, of the $5 to $25 refractor inserts, Hall of Famers as well. Have you two seen an increase in sales from this era?
Yeah, this is my like one time a year where basketball does pretty well for me. Uh, and it's random, like the stuff that sells, but I've sold like some Antoine Jameson lately, and Jason Kidd, of course, Jordan Pippen, trying to think of who else, Hakeem Olajuwon. Like, yeah, some of those 90s wasn't necessarily refractors and stuff, but it was inserts or,
Yeah,
special cards or whatever. Um, So yeah, get them while you can because it doesn't last long, in my
yeah,
experience. Now I don't carry a ton of basketball either, but um, I'll see this. It's a decent amount of my sales compared to what it is the rest of the year for these next couple of weeks, and then people are kind of over the new basketball season then for a while.
yeah. So this is a tough one for me. I feel like I don't necessarily feel I've seen an uptick in it, but what I would say is mid to late 90s inserts in any sport are kind of bread and butter, right? Like
Yeah,
those are staples, so they're always moving.
they are literally the greatest cards ever created.
The greatest.
I've said it before. Metal and metal inserts and all those great Fleer products and stuff like that. Upper Deck had some really nice stuff. Like, yeah, 90s inserts are straight up bangers.
Yeah. I don't think
Matter of
you can go
fact,
wrong with them. If you find them in value boxes, that's the kind of stuff you want to
I
bring home.
mean, I got a big Farv order here I got to send, and it's kind of the same thing. Here's the Quicksilver
Yeah.
parallel from Action Pact, a Dream Team insert, right? This is
Yeah.
all 90s insert stuff. Special effects die cuts, with the holograms. Um, let's see what else is in here. You got the UD3 with the little hologram on it.
Mm-hmm.
Here's another Upper Deck hologram insert. So here's 24 karat gold action packed. Like that stuff just bangers. They don't do as cool as stuff. The bomb, that was one of the best inserts
Yeah.
out of Skybox. So afterburners, I love Flare. Where's that gold label? That might be gold label. Yeah, it's Topps gold label.
Okay.
Right. But just examples. I mean, you don't generally see cards like that now. So I feel like cards are kind of coming back to that. I feel like inserts have gotten better the past few years. Um, there's some I like, especially now that Topps is more involved again with all the sports. Those the baseball inserts this past year, where it's like them standing in front of the shelves of like baseball card product.
Oh yeah,
Those the
my
Bowman shop one.
hobby stuff or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
My card
Like,
shop or something.
yeah, and they're doing a lot more. As a matter of fact, that this Marvel product that just came out has like the jambalayas in it. Those were
Yeah.
really cool '90s basketball inserts and stuff. So, um, yeah, I think there's always going to be strength in those. I think the '90s inserts is probably one of the best investments in cards. To be honest with you,
Agreed.
even if they are a little bit higher right now because they've kind of maintained value or even gone up, lately. But yeah, I think they're a great hold, especially early refractors and stuff. I mean, that's straight money.
Yep. So there you go.
Us guys that collected when we were old, when we were young during that time, we're still not that old, and we'll still be buying cards. So
Yeah.
you got another 20 years to get money out of us. So those are the cards that are going to do it most likely.
Yep. Agreed. Wolfie Joe says Tops Now Northern Lights card tonight. Yeah, they are something right now, aren't they? I've seen a lot of pictures from friends and family up near our property up north, and that Mrs. JC3 is already asking me if we can take a ride out to the edge of town after the show tonight to see him. So I don't know, but it's pretty colorful out there.
Yeah, it's fun having sky events. I think that adds to the mystery of the universe and something extra to enjoy.
Yeah.
Get out there and look at it if you can see it.
Johnny M says, thanks for stopping by. Actually, my second one. Okay. The second show, got one tomorrow and Saturday already scheduled.
Excellent. So yeah, you must be having fun doing it. So that's good.
Perfect. JQW says, didn't eBay maybe still do hold withdrawals for new sellers? Not the payment itself, but the ability to withdraw it for a set amount of time. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
Yep. And they go on to say, that's awesome, Johnny. Hope they all go great. Good luck.
Good luck, Johnny.
And Mr. Salty Pickle is with us today.
Oh, gosh.
Had 200 card orders today. Love the money, but takes me time to pull them all and triple check everything. I found not promoting, but doing a big discount works best for quick sales.
Yeah, Charlie and I have kind of had a debate about that in recent times, and I've been telling him, your coupons suck. You need better coupons. And then he's like, I'm going to make some better coupons. So, yeah, that's definitely what I've learned in the last, I'd say probably a year or so ago is when I started being better with discounts and coupons and stuff. And yeah, that by far gets you better sales. I don't think you should completely leave promotions off the table.
Mm-hmm.
What you want to do with them is up to you, but sometimes you're not always going to get a 100 card order. Sometimes you have to have some single or 2 card orders or whatever, and you still got to find buyers for that. So, a quantity discount or a quantity coupon or something like that isn't going to get to everybody.
Yeah. I think we typically advocate a combination of store-wide discounts, coupons, and promotions. And it's up to you to figure out what's the right mix for your business model and your inventory.
And then doing some of your own advertising, contact your current customers, create followers, use business cards, buy your own URL and point towards it. There's other things you can do to try to get that additional business without having. I mean, I love giving discounts to my customers, but I like getting full price for some stuff too once in a while, So, yeah, I think things haven't really changed in business. You have to have a model that sort of gets to a lot of different things because not everybody has the same trigger.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, we're caught up in the chat again. So we've got another topic that we wanted to talk about today, and it's been on the minds of a lot of people, and we thought it's probably a good topic to bring out here, and that's the U.S. economy and where it's going and what that might do to low-end card selling and how it might impact us. So general consensus is that we will have another economic recession coming in the not too distant future. So refresh my memory, Adam. I think formally a recession is 2 consecutive periods of growth in a downturn. Is that accurate?
Yeah, well, it's slowed growth basically.
Yeah.
It recesses, right? I mean, definition of the word is it's in there. So, depression, right? People talk about, oh, the Great Depression. Well, that's a longer period of time. So it's
Right.
basically a recession that lasts longer.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying we're going into a depression, so don't freak out. But, uh, um, yeah. So we have to watch certain indicators in the economics because, regardless of whether or not they would specifically affect low end selling, an overall economic downturn will affect it. So because there's just less dollars to go around, people are more conservative with their money, all those things happen.
Credit's
um
gonna tighten.
Credit, yeah,
Consumer
well,
spending.
credit's been tight, to be honest with
Right.
you.
That's one of the signals that it's coming. Right.
Yeah, it kind of drew on a little longer than I think everyone was expecting, because
Yeah.
housing prices were staying up there, and income was still good because there aren't enough workers. Really, is that's the main reason we don't have unemployment.
Yeah.
um uh, I'm trying to think of what else.
Inflation fatigue.
Inflation is
Yeah.
it's insane. And
Yeah.
the problem with the thing I always hate about inflation is, as soon as there's an excuse to raise prices, it happens, and then it never goes back down.
Never comes back down. Yeah.
Never comes back down. So you just kind of have to sit in that filth until other factors catch up to it, and then it doesn't seem like if it's overpriced.
For the most part.
And inflation, yeah, inflation is somewhat natural, to have things, go up over time some. Uh, but when you have those spikes, that hurts, because
Yeah.
you're not going to see it come back down. So you have to fight to get other things back up, right? You got to try to get your income up. You got to try to get, you know, um, have another source of income, whatever, or cut
Yeah.
expenses. Like, there's other things you have to try to do, because now you have to meet this stupid, past inflation measure that should have come down. But that's just overall economic talk. That's boring. No one wants to hear that. How does it happen to what does it do to cards? I think the biggest thing is, we're still gonna definitely gonna have our buyers. I think you might see a little bit less quantity buyers at times. Where somebody might have came in and bought 50 cards, and might come in and buy 20 cards.
Yeah.
Um, you might get more transactions. They might buy 20 this week and 20 next week versus just buying 50 all at once. Because they're just trying to stay into like little budgets and things, because you don't know what's around the corner.
Yep.
But we'll see. I think the holiday season is going to be the real kicker to this. There's the predictions are, we said this earlier in the show, the predictions are there's going to be a little bit slower Christmas season. And if that is the result, I think the people that aren't convinced there's a recession coming or even happening now, that's going to be the thing where they're like, oh yeah, if we didn't sell stuff over Christmas and we're a consumerism state, which we
Yeah.
are, we like stuff. Heck, we sell stuff, right? That's why you guys are here. If the stuff isn't driving forward or growing, that's usually the one that kicks people in the face and is like, oh yeah, it's not that great.
Yeah. Personally, I think within 6 to 8 months, we are going to be in a classical recession. And I think hobby spending really follows along disposable income trends, right?
Mhm.
And as
Absolutely.
as disposable income decreases, hobby spending decreases. But I think we're in a unique position as low end sellers where we're one of the we get affected in different ways than kind of like that high end market. They probably feel it first, right?
I would
Uh,
think.
the guys doing $100 breaks versus buying $1 cards, they're gonna think twice first, right? Or people buying $1,000 slabs or something. In a weird way, we may initially see more activity as some of those high end customers maybe cut back and shop the mid to low end to
Mhm.
feed their habits, feed their hobby, but with less disposable income. So we might actually see a little bit of a boost initially. Um, And we might see more supply out there. Maybe some collectors are going to be forced to sell off their collections, and the market's going to have some new stuff in it. But I
Like
think
90s inserts.
right. But I think the biggest thing for us as low end sellers is we're gonna have to watch our margins. I think we'll see some tightening margins as people get more selective and aren't as casual about just throwing down whatever someone's asking. And then when you figure in our shipping and packaging costs, those margins, we're going to have to keep a close eye on them to really weather the storm.
The one good piece out of this is we're not going to see a stamp increase in January.
Yep.
That should help us kind of fight through, at least for a few months here. And maybe there's some things that could happen that could try to turn it around a little quicker. Some more prime rate drops, some more, mortgage offers. Maybe some of the lenders will start to be a little bit more aggressive, and borrowing will be better, mainly because of rates. But that's okay. That's why the prime rate exists, right? That's to try
Yep.
to move that economic back and forth. Um, and inflation has to stay lower. If inflation starts going back up, then you're kind of screwed for a while.
Yeah. Now, you've been doing this long enough. I think like 2020, we were in a recession, right? So
Mhm.
you've probably seen at least one of these before. How did it affect you in previous downturns?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't, doing it to nearly the size
Okay.
that I am now, but I think that's the biggest thing and that's why I pointed it out right away. I think that's the biggest thing I noticed is my regular customers, instead of coming and buying like $40 40 card lot orders, they were doing like 20 cards.
Yeah.
I just saw I saw people aren't going to give up their hobbies, especially during a tough economic time, because it's their baby blanket, right?
Yep.
Your thing to kind of get you through. But you're going, but I don't have $50 a check now to do this. I only have $20 a check to do it. So I'm still going to buy cards from Adam, but I'm going to, it's going to be a little bit smaller orders. And I think
Yep.
sometimes customers like doing that too, because even if they can spend the same money, they could make more orders,
Hmm.
right? So instead of, oh gosh, I have 50 card order, that was fun. When do I do my next 50 card order, right? Because it's that fix you got to have.
Yeah.
They go, well, I could do two 20 card orders instead.
Yeah.
Get the fix out of the one and then do the fix out of the other and not have to spend as much. So there's a lot of psychological part that goes to some of that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the same as kind of like the housing crisis we had in 07, 08, 09, where like people lost all the value in their most valuable asset, which was their most valuable asset. People still have a lot of equity in their homes. For those of us lucky enough to own a home anyway. And there's other sources to still get money to help you get through a recession. Um, and like I said, the job market's pretty solid. I know unemployment was a little bit bigger this past month, but there just isn't as many workers. The boomers
Yeah.
are kind of falling away fast here. Uh, and there just isn't that many people to replace them. So those are two things where I'm like, okay, that's gonna prop us up a bit to get through this. Um, and as long as the recession doesn't last forever and we don't have huge inflation to sort of counter that, I think everybody will be able to get through it just fine.
Yeah.
But lower your expectations a little bit, or maybe instead of going after the $100 cards you're going to put in your store, go after the $10 cards to put in your store.
Yeah.
Have the things that are going to appeal to the buyers at that time. Um, and if your sales go down, just remember there's an opportunity then to do other things. You can improve the pictures on your listings. You could, download your stuff and get it over to Whatnot and collect. So, like I've always kind of looked at work like as long as I have something to do, even if it isn't the ideal thing for me to do, am still productive and it's still a positive, you know, future impact on my business, even if it doesn't show up as dollars. You can't look at your you can't look at this type of business entirely in sales. There's other things that matter in it. Um, I mean, even just growing your assets. Okay, you're not selling as many, but if you're buying other cards at a really good price, because like Charlie said, people have to sell their collections or do whatever. Well, you're gaining assets. You have better, you have more valuable inventory now. When
Right.
assuming prices return, right? So yeah, I think you need to be cautious. I think you need to maybe not try to go for aggressive growth right now, because you're just going to try to sustain and get through and help your customers get through it, make sure that they can still enjoy their hobby and have good cards to buy. But don't throw everything at it right now,
Yeah.
where it's grow or die kind of situation.
Yep. I think there can be winners in an economic situation like that, though, and I think what we do sits squarely in some of those categories that you would want to be in a recession. So, sellers that focus on budget friendly cards that are based in maybe more nostalgia than anything else, not chasing big hits and finding investment opportunities. I think they're pretty safe in a recession. And I think sellers who have efficient operations are the ones that are going to weather the storm best. They watch their margins. They save that extra penny on shipping supplies, and they stock up ahead of major price changes and things like that. They ship fast. They list smart. All those things. They're going to be in a good position to do just fine through the recession. And I think that's a lot of what we focus on all the time and what we try to
Yeah,
share with people.
I mean, my hope is that it affects everything greatly, so that Michael Jordan autos are not $1,500 anymore, but $25.
Right?
And then I'm going to do whatever I can to buy as many $25 Michael Jordan autographs as I can during the recession. That's my current plan. I don't know how solid it is, but that's my current plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, I don't think it's going to be, I think the housing crisis crash was a lot bigger than what any of this is going to be.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of other factors that play into it, right? Like politics and, natural events, and there's things that you can't quite predict economically, and we'll just kind of have to see where that goes. But
Yeah.
um yeah, I would strongly suggest you try to, if you got a good job, hold on to your job right now. If you're doing good in your card sales, just slowly pace yourself up from there, instead of, like I said, throwing everything at it right now. I think it's just best thing to do in a recession is be cautious. Don't not live. Don't not invest. Don't not. I'm using double negatives. I don't know what's going on here.
Don't not. That's going to be
Do
the new
not.
selling
Do
platform
not.
you start. Don't not.
Right. So just pace yourself. It's a little bit. There isn't like a bunch of money to grab, right now. So don't try to do that, because you're just going to get frustrated.
Yeah.
Look for deals. Um, maybe don't buy as much inventory right now if things aren't selling as fast, and just kind of hold on to that money, or find some other things you could do with it that gets you in a better position. Um, but I agree with Charlie. I think it's kind of unavoidable at this point, and we just have to figure out our way to get paddle through it. I don't think it's going to be a long recession. I think there's too many positives in it for it to last super long. Like large unemployment, huge home value drops, war. Like there's certain like big things where it's like, ooh, this is pretty tough to just climb out of. But when you have jobs and incomes are kind of climbing. I mean, I know prices are climbing too, but which is why the recession is coming. But I feel like there's other real positive factors in it that can is assuming things sort of work out, especially if rates can drop. Um, you can climb out of that recession. I think with some of the things of what happened when rates were going up, that kept us out of a recession because inflation was going up so high. So you can kind of counter anything. It just, how long does it take? And who understands it and who believes in it and who wants it to happen, and then you kind of have to go roll with the punches from that.
Yep, I agree. All right, well, Johnny M says this month is starting out to be his worst November in many years. He's actually doing better on Sport Lots auctions than eBay right now.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, it's kind of goes right to what we were saying. I think you just have to understand that the numbers are going to be a little bit lower. I kind of noticed it starting last month, and there is a downturn this time of year anyway. Which I wanted to make sure we talked about that right away because I didn't want people to freak out like, oh my god, I'm not doing any business. This is traditionally a slower time of year for cards.
It is.
But yeah, you've been doing this a long time, and this is the worst November you've had in a long time. And mine is slightly under what it was last year, and last year was my worst year. So worst year, like, it's all relative, right? So, like, sure, my worst year was the year when I had like 200 listings, right? But if I'm trying to compare more apples to apples, I would say that I would say this year is you're gonna take a little bit of a slower sale pace than you had in the past, even if you have more stuff.
I do love, Johnny, that you're using different sales platforms. You're omnidirectional with your sales platforms, right? So you found an avenue on Sport Lots that is doing well. We talked about that earlier in the show, that some of my eBay downturn has been offset with increases on collects and whatnot, right?
Yep,
so
same.
Diversifying your sales channels is an important factor in this business.
And even having the second store on eBay, so even though it's the same platform, but I have a different buying audience for that's been big. I will ultimately, when November ends, I will do better this year than I did last year, but it's mainly because I just have more listed in more places.
Yeah.
Right. So I was able to sort of push the growth myself. It's not growth because the market is good necessarily, if that makes sense. So I'm not saying you can't make more money. I'll make more money this month than I did last year in this month, but technically my sales are down, if that makes sense.
Right.
So, but that's why I said this is not the time to cry and say my sales are bad. This is or sit idly by. This is the time to go, okay, I've got time now. What other platforms can I get on? What can I research for buying more inventory? Can I get on to, I got some more time, I can look at Marketplace and maybe talk to a couple of people selling bulk and see if that can get me something. Like, you have to do a little bit more work in order to get what you need to get.
Yep. And Mr. Salty Pickle says, don't you think a lot of people are doing their Christmas shopping year round now? That's what my wife has been doing anyway. So I could see consumer spending being down based off that. I think that is a thing.
That's what she's telling you. She's just buying stuff for herself. And she's like, oh, this is for Christmas. Sure it is. No, we've been doing that for years. My Christmas shopping is done like August, September-ish generally. If you have a kid, that changes a little bit because they're fickle and they might not really have like, this is what I want for Christmas until November. So even if you bought a bunch of stuff, guess what? You're running out to buy that other stuffed animal that now everybody has to have. The Cabbage Patch effect, right? Cabbage Patch Kid effect. But outside of that, yeah, I think you're right. I think people do. They look for sales. They look for, multi-item discounts. And with shopping online, it's so much easier now, right? You don't have to wait for, the certain store to do their certain sale of the year or something like that. Like, you can get different things at different. A lot of times, for me, it's just you trip on something where you're like, oh man, that person would really love that, and I just don't generally randomly buy stuff for people. It's not really my MO. So I'll be like, all right, I'll get that because I see it now. It's a good price, whatever. And they would love it. And it goes in my, to give out at Christmas box. We have an area in the house where we put like things to give out for, gifts for Christmas kind of thing.
Right.
You end up kind of filling that up enough over the year where it's like, I only have to get a few things. And I agree with you. I think that's different. I think that's different than how it always was in years past. I think, I think I think after COVID and after that really changed things.
Yeah.
So, because I think before COVID, it was like, oh, we go on Black Friday and we buy all the kids' pajamas and we do that, get the DVDs and do that, buy all the stuff. The electronics are on a deal and, $100 TVs and all that kind of thing. And it's just not really a thing. It's funny, you say that because I don't remember what I was watching tonight. It was something on YouTube with my daughter, one of the YouTube people she follows. And there's Christmas commercials that pop up on YouTube now. So it's kind of weird. It's almost like watching TV back in the day. I was just talking about
We know how you like watching commercials.
watching Christmas loops. Yeah. So it's like, okay, well, 'tis the season, so I guess. But all the ads are like shop Black Friday now. Shop Black Friday now. They still use that term. That's still like a trigger phrase for like people to do their shopping for Christmas, but it's earlier and earlier and earlier and earlier. And it's not come to our store. It's like go to this site and these are our Black Friday deals. Um, so yeah, I think it'll be. I think when people are buying cards though, they aren't necessarily doing that throughout the year for gifts.
Yeah,
because they're probably not coming to my store looking for Mike Trout cards for their boyfriend who loves Mike Trout.
yeah.
Until like, okay, I got to get him something. Okay, I'll go find some Mike Trout cards. So I feel like we still get that boost in December. And honestly, there's other things that impact it. It's not necessarily holiday sales that give you the big boost in December, January, February, March. It's end of the year bonuses and Christmas bonuses and excuse me.
Oh, bless you. He's not done yet, folks.
Nope, that was it. And in the winter, right? There's less to do. You can't really participate in your other hobbies, playing basketball at the park and taking the jet skis out and doing that kind of thing. I mean, there's winter hobbies too, but less of them.
Right.
So, now your collectors are coming by and they're going, okay, well, I'm going to pick up these cards. I'm looking at them over winter and stuff. So, I still believe there's going to be that boost coming, but I think it could be a little less, not necessarily due to the year-round shopping, but just due to economic situations.
So. Mr. Salty Pickle actually misses the days of going out early for Black Friday and waiting in those horrible lines. Maybe getting in a fight or two.
So do I. It was our thing every year. I'm an early riser, so I'm good. I'm ready to go, at 4 a.m. anyway. So it was perfect for me. And I always referred to it as competitive shopping.
Yeah.
Because it's basically what it is. And I mean, I went home and I had, like, you walk past somebody with a ridiculously large TV and a 75-inch TV in a cart, right? They put it in a cart. And you walk past and you catch that corner of the TV and the knuckle, right? And it rips down your knuckle and you're bleeding and you're putting Band-Aids on while you're checking out in line at Walmart. And I loved it too. It was super fun. We always did get some really good deals and found some cool stuff. I always had a list for myself, like, oh, look at the deal on this and this, and I would love to have that. And so it was fun to do the Christmas shopping. You go out for breakfast after, and but those days are just not coming back. I don't think there just isn't enough traffic to warrant it. Because I can remember, like, you'd go into Walmart and they had everything in like wrapped pallets, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you couldn't do anything until like the midnight hour hit or whatever their time was. So it'd be you and like a bunch of people huddled around this pallet of like freaking car GPS units, right? I remember that one year. Like, who has that now? But so we're all standing around it and it's like, is this the right one? People are already poking at it, trying to get, like some of the plastic loose so they could quick grab something, as soon as the bell hit, get to the next thing. And sure, the bell would hit and they'd cut that plastic and man, you just have like a pile of people on it. And, I got one, and there's downsides to it. I mean, there was tramplings and things like that, but morons exist. Like, that doesn't change just because it's Black Friday.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make it bigger because it's Black Friday either. It just happens.
Right.
So you have to watch yourself and you have to watch what's going on. But yeah, we had I loved it. Competitive shopping every year. I was always the one who had to like run to. This is how old I am. I was always the one who had to run to the gas station and get the newspaper, right, with all the inserts in it. So it would be like, yeah, the black, and the thing was like this thick. It was insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you'd have like the Walmart flyer and the Target flyer, like all these places, and then you had to kind of like highlight what you wanted. Heck, we used to go the like days before to like whatever store was going to be our big store we were going to focus on, and we'd go to the store and map out where the stuff was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So you knew like, okay, well, I'll go to that back left corner because that's where the laptops are. You go to the right corner where the queen bedding is, or whatever it was. And you just did the best you can and tried to get as much as you could.
Right.
And sometimes you missed out, but that was part of the fun. That's the competitive part of it. So I enjoyed my time doing it. I do not think it's going to be a thing.
Joe says if you really miss it, you can still join the GameStop lines on Pokemon release day.
No.
No.
I don't really do Pokemon anyway, so.
Up next, Trading Cards also says they miss those days as well. They always remember hearing the joke to watch out going to the same deal as the mom or grandma with the big bag. She might have a brick in there.
Yeah, I mean, there are some good stories that came out of that, right? Some pretty rough stuff. But I mean, I've seen fist fights. I saw a guy get tackled in Walmart and get handcuffed right in front of us because they always have police. At the bigger stores, they would always have police, like real police, not like store police.
Right
there. So yeah, it was something. But I mean, I remember going to the racks of like the $1 DVDs, and it was just mind blowing. I was like, I can get all these movies for $1, and they were they were $15 a month ago, and built a lot of our collections doing that kind of thing, and it was just fun. It was fun. It was like your Christmas before Christmas in a way, because I mean, you had to buy it, but the stuff was so cheap because doorbusters, right? You have all these like trigger words. Honestly, those were loss leaders. Like most of that stuff, they didn't make any money on. It was, you're in the store, so now you're going to pick up the other PJs and the VCR and the blah, blah, they were making the money on the other stuff. So they just bought that stuff and basically gave it away to get, because it was either that or you went to the Target who was giving stuff away and you bought all your stuff there. Mm-hmm. But I can remember back in the day, I was always excited when like Toyland opened at Fleet Farm. I'd go there the first day the toy department opened, and I think they still kind of make that a thing, but it's not really a thing. I mean, I don't think people really rush there.
Still a big line waiting on the day they open or anything.
Yeah. I think Fleet Farm sells cards now though, which is kind of interesting. Yeah. I haven't been in there, but yeah, the glory days.
Some positive news here from up next as well. It sounds like President Trump has signed the legislation to end the shutdown tonight. So we'll see what that does for us.
Yep.
And then Designated Heckler has a good question here. What would you anticipate the impact is if U.S. folks get $2,000 checks, as has been mentioned? How did COVID checks impact low-end sales? Not saying it will happen, but what if it does?
Oh boy. I do not want to get into anything with politics, but I'm going to speak economically, and I'm going to speak about stimuluses and things like that. It's a terrible idea. I think giving people random money is not good because it doesn't help them with budgeting. It doesn't help them long term. It's just it just clears out the aisle of TVs at Walmart. So I don't agree with it. Just from the economic standpoint of it, and it has long term effects. We've seen that from these last stimulus checks with inflation and things like that. I don't think that check is coming. You have to do the math a little bit, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Do some math, and it can't happen.
It's only like $83 billion short in the budget.
It's really bad. Yeah, it's really bad. It doesn't. I mean, everybody wants a windfall, right? And I don't fault you for that. And again, working in banking, I saw that a lot. People getting like fraudulent checks and thinking they were real, and it's like, come on, this is not. Oh, I got a check from the Canadian lottery. Did you play the Canadian lottery? No. Well, why the hell would they send you a check? Like, you know what I'm saying? Um, so I think you have to spend a little bit more time and do some of the actual math, and it's not going to happen. Now, because it's in your question, for argument's sake, what if it did? How would that impact us? Sure, I think that would help us sell some cards. Absolutely. So I'm not like, for me personally, I mean, yeah, it would be great to get $2,000 in every one of my customers' hands because they probably will spend some on cards, right? Um, I don't know that that's necessarily economy stimulating overall, but I mean, small impacts here and there, I suppose.
I think it's a temporary impact. It might lead to a few more sales, but it's not long lasting.
No, and it can have long-term effects in the bad way. So yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. If it did, would it give us a small boost at that time? Sure. I mean, and it did when the stimulus checks came out too. I tried to get as much of that as I could out of people. Why not?
Yeah,
that was free money for them. Well, I wanted their free money. Like that's the that's what it is being in business, right? You want your share, your market share. You want to try to get as chunk of that as you can. Dan, who are you kidding? You're going to buy wild card.
yeah.
So yeah, I get it, and I think I like the excitement of it. It's fun to think about. Hey man, if I get an extra $2,000 deposited next month, that doesn't have to be earmarked for bills or debt or whatever else is going on. Yeah, I can see why that's exciting. I just don't. It's just not a good idea economically speaking.
Right. All right. So to kind of wrap up our topics for the night, it sounds like we generally agree a recession is coming. So let's just, for the sake of discussion, let's agree that 6-8 months from now, a recession is going to hit. What do you do today to recession proof the dollar box?
My current plays are, number one, to still focus more on non-sport because that's a bigger market I can grab a share of. So even if things recede, if you're in a market where there isn't as much competition, that's still a big advantage.
Yeah.
The other thing is I'm just not buying as much. I have a lot to list, and I know it's always be buying. I hear the sayings all the time, but I don't fall for stuff like that. I look at like the actual numbers. Obviously, if the right deal falls in my lap, and I'm still going to go shows and pick stuff up because I like that part for fun as well. But I'm not going to be buying as big because the sales aren't going to happen quite as fast. And I know what some of the comments are going to be is, well, you got to get into more live selling where you can turn the stuff faster, blah, blah, blah. But if you're talking recession, that's not going to matter. You're either going to sell less or things are going to sell for less, and you're going to end up with the same result. So, and that's not really my business model. So you asked the dollar box, and that's not what I hang my hat on, is a bunch of live selling stuff, and I don't want to. So I'm going to really try to focus on my customers, and contacting them, providing good customer service, even if they're making smaller orders. I don't want them to feel like a smaller customer because of that, because I understand why it's happening. Try to offer some more discounts, more. So like, for example, if you have a bigger coupon right now, like let's say you need to buy 10 to get 20% off. Well, maybe you want to do buy 5 and get 20% off, right? Like help your customer a little bit where they can still participate in the discount or the coupon, but they don't have to buy more than what they really should be buying right now due to, their what's impacted them with the economy. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just kind of feel it out as it goes along, and honestly stay focused on low end. There's always this thought of, okay, well, you fill up all your, yeah, it's contagious. There's always this thought of, well, now you got all this low end, you sell that and you start buying more mid end. And I don't know that that's really I don't know. I haven't seen any like super effects of that being. To me, I still buy the thing where I feel like I can make the most margin. If
Yeah.
that's a $1 card, great. If it's a 20-cent card, great. If it's a $15 card, great. Um, so I'm not going to deviate from my main like business model just because a recession is coming. But I'm going to be more cautious. I'm going to buy a little bit less. I'm going to plan to maybe sell a little bit less and just get through it that way. Um, if you're making less income but you have less expenses, you're not going to see that much impact then.
Right.
So um, that's kind of my plan. But yeah, definitely focus on the non-sport. I feel like that is a little bit more recession proof because there just isn't as much out there.
Yeah, I think the first thing I want to call out is you have to go through a mindset shift as you prepare for a changing economy. You have to start with an expectation that sales could dip significantly. Let's say I'm going to plan my business around a possible dip in sales of 15 to 25%. That's going to require some changes. While your business model may stay predominantly the same, there's going to be some areas that have to change. And I think that mindset shift is you're going to want to start shifting your focus from chasing growth to
Yeah.
more cash flow stability.
Mhm.
And I think
Conservative. You turn to a more conservative approach.
exactly. And
Yeah.
you touched on it as well. I think the first place you start looking is your inventory management. Cut down on those big bulk buys of maybe someday these will move,
Yeah.
right? Double down on your proven turnover, those Hall of Famers, those stars, those 90s inserts, right? Focus on your bread and butter and try and move some of that death pile before it gets here. So it's not just sitting there, right?
Yeah, I would say try to get as much listed as possible. So at least
Yeah.
you can so numbers matter. I know they say, well, the more you list doesn't guarantee you more sales. Well, that's true and it's also not true.
Yeah.
Because my store with 60,000 listings is going to sell more cards than a store with 100 listings just due to the law of numbers. Um assuming everything else is apples to apples, right? They don't have the hottest cards and I don't have the slowest cards.
Right.
But yeah, I think Charlie hit the nail on the head there. You just have to have a more conservative approach and just go, okay, yep, I'm okay just doing some now and just getting this now and I'm going to keep listing, I'm going to keep improving my store, I'm going to keep in contact with my customers and you know working on that part of your business versus, go for the sales, go for the sales, go for it. Grade every base card because you can triple your money doing it. Like we aren't in those days.
Yeah.
And aren't going to be for at least quite a while. So, um, yeah,
Yeah. And I think another area you want to look at is your expense control. And you touched on that as well. A sneaky one is looking at any kind of third-party subscriptions you have. Are there listing tools you're using that you can get by without?
yeah,
Are you using research tools like Terapeak with a pay program? Are you using the right store tier? Do you are you on an anchor store program and you don't really need it? Are you what's the name of our store program there?
premium,
Yeah, are
premium.
you on that and you're not needing nearly that many listings? Can you cut that down?
Mhm.
Take a look at where you're at and see where you can cut out some of those expenses. And then the old standby of your packaging and shipping standards. Are you optimized in that area? Are you optimizing the combination of protection and cost? We talk about it almost every week. Like I'll get a card that is overly packaged and a
Yeah,
seller put way too much cost into that. Right now, that may not be a big deal. If your sales drop 15 to 20, 25%, that becomes a lot more noticeable.
yeah. I mean those fringe costs that you were spending where it wasn't taking much out of your bottom line tend to have more impact. So it's actually okay if your income goes down. I mean, talk to any business that's been in business for, let's say, 20 years. They had years that weren't great. I guarantee
Yeah.
it. Even Walmart's closed Walmart's. Like, if
Yeah.
Walmart can't make it, who can make it? Wendy's just announced they're going to be closing like 70 stores or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So, even businesses you think are really solid have some down years. So
Sure.
you just have to do the business different at that point instead of, um, you're not going to make as much income, so you have to reduce your expenses. That's the only way to
Yep.
do it. If the money comes down here, it has to come down here. If you want to
Yep.
stay, if you want to stay where you're at, if you're okay just making less income, I guess that's fine. But, um, you have to decide how sustainable that is, because you don't really know how long the downturn's going to last either.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, myself, I'm kind of excited for it because I have a mortgage I want to redo, and I've been waiting for those stupid rates to come down.
Yeah.
So I'm like, keep dropping the rates. Maybe, that's okay. Hold off recession. I'm fine with that until I get my
Yeah.
mortgage done.
Yeah.
Um, so, it really depends on, what your position is too, as to whether or not it's going to be a good thing. Um, so I think sometimes having life slowed down for us, generally, the economy is what drives that.
Mhm.
But I don't always think that's a bad thing.
Sure. Yeah.
I think everybody always chasing the buck isn't necessarily great for, uh, you know, all situations either. So,
Yeah, and I think the one last thing I would say that I would advocate for in getting ready for a recession type of situation is what we talked about with Johnny earlier, selling on Sport Lots. Diversify your revenue stream. So
mhm,
try out some different platforms. Get selling in different channels. Maybe make some different offerings. Maybe you just do singles today. Maybe you want to try and list some lots or some mystery packs or something. To do some different things as the market changes that might help you. And then, as always, focus on building up that repeat customer base with your
mhm.
advertising and your communication. Your repeat buyers are more likely to keep coming back even when their discretionary income decreases.
Yeah, and I think, there's an opportunity to try some different types of selling. So instead of just listing, constantly in your buy it now because things were selling, do some auctions, do some live selling, do some lots, do some, I don't know, whatever different things you can do that you're not doing now might get you a couple of extra bites. Even like I said, even if it's not your favorite way to do business, it might just make up that difference just enough that gets you through. So, but I
Yeah.
have tons of stuff to list, so I've got plenty of things to focus on, and, there's some cool products still coming out, so you still want to participate in some new products. You still want to have good inventory, so you can't just like totally sit there and just ride it out and wait for everything to happen. You still have to be active in your business,
Yep.
but just stay more on the conservative side of it would be my suggestion. Things ride out and it becomes great again. Go gamble, do all your things. Now's probably not the best time for that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we'll jump back into a little chat. Hopefully, that helps you prepare for a possible market change in the near future. Let's see here. I think we left off on up next. He says, "Do y'all do holiday special sales? If y'all still have time to answer."
I do. I usually have some sort of, I don't really do it as a holiday sale. So here's my approach on this one. I'm giving away all my secrets again, Charlie. Here's my approach on this one. I do it as more of a thank you to my customers sale. Okay. Because I look at it as more like a year end sale than a holiday sale per se. Because most of the people that are buying from what I sell is the end user. So it's the actual customer that's using it, is buying
Right.
it. So I love the older holiday commercials, right? We talked about that earlier. I watched those on loops. What did a lot of those say in those ads?
I don't know.
a lot of them were, thank you for, buying M&Ms, and we want you from us and yours to have a happy holidays, right? It's more of a like, we want you to know we appreciate you. We hope you enjoy our product over the holidays, and it makes your time special. Thank you for being a M&M's customer, right? That's what a lot of that message was back then. Yeah, it was advertising the product. I mean, nobody, didn't understand that, but that was a time to sort of be like, cut the fancy cartoons and all the screaming in your face selling tactics and all that. It was kind of like a, you have a bunch of people sitting around a fire, right? And they're each having a couple M&Ms out of a bowl, and like the Redenbacher commercials. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Orville Redenbacher he was always in all his commercials, right? But there's always the Christmas one where it's like him and like 27 because he was like 90 years old. It was like him and 27 generations of family behind him, and the little grandkid goes up there and says, "Thank you, Grandpa Redenbacher, whatever, for these and he's like, I want you to enjoy my fluffy white popcorn over the holidays, and enjoy it with your family and blah blah blah." I think there's too much holidays of buy our stuff, deals, and people don't necessarily like that. I think they like the part about, we appreciate that you're a customer. This is a time to enjoy, a time to celebrate. Thank you, and we're giving you this awesome deal because we appreciate you and we want you to have a great holiday season. Don't you think that hits home a lot better?
It
Like,
does.
people like that more?
Yeah.
Yet you're still doing the same thing, right? You're still like, we've got great products for you. Here's our doorbuster sale. Whatever you do, make me a promise, everybody watching this. Do not put a coupon out there and be like, doorbuster deals at Charlie's Cards. Don't do that.
But I got these sick cards, bro.
That too. Yeah, no sick holiday sales, don't do that. Don't fall into that. Like, this is how you advertise products. This is how you, push for Christmas sales. Don't do that, because people hate it.
Yeah.
And it's cheesy. It's a bad tactic. It's what crappy businesses do that are going out of business. Do Orville Redenbacher, do M&Ms, like do those types of ads. Those companies have been around forever, and people are still enjoying their products. And it's because they make a good product, but they also appreciate their customers.
Sure.
And that is way underestimated, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't change the sales I'm doing. I change the language around my advertising to talk about the holidays and buying gifts. We talked recently, I created a category called stocking stuffers, and I curate what I put in there for the casual shopper, not the diehard sports collector, to, find that thing for little Timmy to put in their stocking, or, whatever it may be. But when I send out my newsletters and when I create my coupons, I'm not doing a special holiday sale. It's just the natural course of the discussion is about the holidays, because we're entering that season, right?
Right.
I try to keep it very, very human as much as I can, a natural conversation. So yeah, I agree with Adam. Like, some of those marketing blitzes that are very holiday centric are so commercial.
Be here by 9 a.m. when the doorbusters happen, because if you're not, you're going to miss out.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear that crap. Like, you're just selling them something. They have no attachment to you at all. And then you're just after a customer, you're trying to get the next customer, because you don't have any regular customers that you can just appeal to. And then the businesses that have that, those are the businesses that are long-term successful. If you want to like make $10 and fly out the door, sure, that's a great way to do it then. But if you want to stick around and actually build a business and build a customer base, and like care about what you're doing and care about the people who are buying from you, that's the right approach to do that.
I'm gonna have goat buster sales.
Goat buster. I mean, like busting a goat? Like, I don't know. That doesn't sound so great.
I don't know.
Do you want me to show you the underside of my stuffed goat again? Because that's what you're asking.
No, I don't ever want to see that again. Designated Heckler says, how do you think a recession could impact Fanatics and specifically print runs?
Well, Fanatics is basically a monopoly, and we're all going to buy crap no matter what. So I don't know that it's going to affect them greatly.
Yeah.
Sales will probably go down some. I mean, an overall economic recession does touch just about everything that's, trying to make a buck. But print runs, yeah, they could lower some print runs a bit. I mean, that's the beauty of kind of what they do. They can sort of control the amount of product release. It's a big advantage in business. So maybe that'll be the case, but I think print runs should have been rolled back some anyway. It's hard to say because you want to have enough product out there, because there's nothing more frustrating than like everybody goes to a store and there's nothing on the shelves, right? That doesn't help either. So they're kind of in a rock and a hard place that way. You got to produce enough product, but not so much that it's a glut and there's no secondary value, because let's face it, most of us are in the hobby for a secondary market value out of our assets.
I don't think there's going to be a huge change either. If anything, I would see them maybe cutting down on some of the special parallel type things, like the All-Star Game parallels, right? Like, I don't think they would stop that one in particular, but things they make just for retail, right? Like, you might not see as much variety in that to try and catch the hype.
I could see them not printing as many sets. So instead of having like a new baseball set come out every 3 days, which is kind of excessive, like you just barely buy, Topps, Series 2, and then Bowman Chrome's out 3 days later. It's like, really?
Yeah.
I could see them do it. I'm not saying they're going to do this, but I could see that being more the approach, and they just go, okay, let's not have some of the fluffy products this year. Let's make sure we get a banger Topps out there, and a banger Topps Chrome, and a banger Finest, and whatever is like their like solid, rock solid, have to put out products, and then maybe passing on a couple of other things, just due to they can't spread the dollars that thin in a recession. You're only going to get so many dollars, right? So now they put these products out where maybe the sales aren't as great on it because of that. So,
and he goes on to say, honestly, I'm a lot more worried about the upcoming Major League Baseball CBA. They've been trying to kill the golden goose forever.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right, actually. But ideally, I mean, I guess I have plenty of modern stuff too, but I really like Nolan Ryan cards and Will Clark cards, and like, to me, if baseball doesn't play, that helps a lot of my inventory, because it's stuff where guys aren't playing anyway. Because the hobbyists will still be there, and they'll go, okay, well, there's no new sets come out now. I could fill up some of this old stuff that I keep putting off because the new top set come out or whatever. Yeah, I don't think that's necessarily like part of the recession, but yeah, it could hurt baseball cards for a bit. Out of sight, out of mind, right? So if you're not playing, nobody's buying, which is why we have the cycles we have in cards. When the hype of the new season is happening, that's when the cards sell the best, right? So if there's no new season, well, it's kind of hard to get that going. So I don't know. We'll see. There's time yet. Also, baseball. I think baseball actually kind of learned from its past, which I know that doesn't happen usually in human history ever, because we're stupid and we fall for the same crap. But that baseball strike almost killed the sport. I think it was like mid 90s, right? Was it the mid 90s? When was that strike?
Yeah, it was mid 90s.
Basically, people kind of walked away from baseball, and they're like, well, we got football and we got basketball and we got soccer. Like, there's other things. Baseball always thought it was like the thing that mattered the most. And it took a while for them to kind of climb back from that.
All it took to come back was a steroid-induced home run chase.
Yeah, well, there's that too, but that might have been, part of the manufacturing of that. But I think that I think that that's not something that they're going to want to get into. So I'm hoping that they can kind of put something together and figure that out. But I don't know. Collective bargaining agreements is like something I don't really understand. I'm not quite sure like who gets leverage or how does that get negotiated? Like that's not I never studied enough on it to really know how it works. So I'm not quite sure like who holds the cards, right? Pun intended. Um so I guess we'll find out because I'm not going to follow it that closely because I don't care enough, but I'm not interested enough. But it could impact cards for sure.
Up next says maybe instead of, for example, 10% off 4, do 10% off 3 or 15% off 4, but only keep it running for a set amount of days or on a specific holiday.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. The more options your customers have to get some discounts, they're going to love that, right? I mean, we like it too when we're buying for selling. So yeah, I'm kind of a firm believer that you can't offer too many discounts or too many coupons, whichever one triggers your customer. The one catch with coupons is only one can be your banner or your featured coupon. So you know, you want to make that first one like the one you think is really going to do the best for you. Um, and then you can have additional coupons from there that customers can still take advantage of, but it's not going to stare them in the face when they get to your listing. That's the only thing.
Right.
Keep in mind.
Unfortunately, I don't think a lot of customers click on the sales page where they see all the discounts.
Yeah. I do have some because I always run a 2 coupon simultaneously, and I get plenty of orders on the smaller coupon too. So I definitely know that it gets looked at and it gets used, and maybe some of it is just my customers know that they can go there and there's going to be another offer, but yeah, you want to put your strongest discount or your strongest coupon up front so that that's the one that everybody will see. Just a tip.
Johnny says, I suggest putting cash away so you can buy collections from people that need the money. I get pretty good Facebook deals now, but know how much better they get during a recession.
You're absolutely right. If you're going to be buying this, this is the time to sort of set that aside because those are going to be better opportunities then. And then just know that, oh, I got a great deal on this. It was a great buying opportunity. It's not going to be a good selling opportunity for you right away. Right? That recession still exists, you know, on the seller side too. So that might be stuff you have to sit on a bit or ask a little bit less money for, or, you know, who knows, or just hold it and ride out this recession and you know, and get the sales when things come back.
Which is
so as long as you realize that. Yeah, which is fine.
We do that.
I'll be doing that too. I'm with you. I'm putting some cash aside too. So I can see there's going to be, I'm waiting for my $1,200 autographed Jordan cards for $25. I have the money. You let me know when it happens and where they are, and I will pick them up.
So we do this on a micro level all the time with the different sports seasons, right? Like we know that now we're going into a great baseball sourcing season, right? As the hype of the World Series dies off, card prices come down. It's a great time to buy baseball cards for next season's kickoff, right? And then when the football season ends, we do the same cycle, right? It's just at a macro level with a recession. A recession can be a great buying opportunity to hold on those for when the market comes back.
It usually is. I mean, the whole point of recession is, you know, things are sliding backwards. Well, yeah, if you're in the position to take that up, yeah, that's what you want. So
now we did say don't buy the maybe these will move.
Right.
Double down on the really good names that you know have a proven track record.
The Jordan autographs.
Yes, Jordan autographs. Dan says, get the doorbuster sale at 3 a.m. Monday.
Don't be that guy. You're gonna be very disappointed in yourself later in life if you do that. So don't do that.
Up next says, that was awesome advice. Thank you all for that. Definitely wasn't leaning the doorbuster bra, but still, that was absolutely solid advice. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and it's just my approach. I feel like like I said, I've been doing this a long time. I've been in sales for a long time before this, and that high pressure sales approach, people just hate you. No one wants that. I mean, even car dealerships have pretty much entirely given that up now. Now they're just like, we know exactly what is the best price we can give you for this. That's it. They don't do the negotiating. They don't come out and, yeah, they try to get you into the car because you're more likely to buy it then. But other than that, it's not a big, come down to Johnny's car. Although you still have the, woo guy, right? We have our woo guy for cars.
Yes.
So there's still some of that classic car salesman out there, but I think he's just more having fun with it than anything else. It's just part of his character, if you will. But yeah, I think if you want to be a business where you build a trusting customer relationship, I think the buy now before it's gone approach is not a very good one. I think it's got to be more, it's got to be softer. It's got to be more, I appreciate you, here's some deals because you're a good customer. And, I know you like these cards, so I picked more of these up, you might be interested in. You're still making a sales approach. You're just not doing the Fast Eddie type of, sales pitch.
Yeah. All right. Well, we made it through our topics for the week, and we're caught up on the chat, and we're 2 hours in. That's pretty good timing. Look at that.
Yeah, I mean, like, we're kind of on target. We started late, though, to be fair.
We did 10 after.
Yeah.
I think we started.
Yeah, I think it was Charlie's fault again. I don't remember.
But again, we are at that 2 hour mark. So
yeah,
that's our scheduled show for the night. So hope you enjoyed the topics tonight. We had a good conversation. I think we had some good back and forth on that, and I think it's important to always look ahead. What's on the horizon, and what do I need to do to prepare for that, right? But all that said, I would just end the night by saying, even though a recession may be on the horizon, we're still rich in common cards and conversation.
Wow. Coffee
deep, huh?
talk. Some coffee
Deep.
talk. Yeah, that was deep. That was what was that skit on Saturday Night Live?
It was coffee talk.
Deep,
Yeah.
well, that and
Deep Thoughts by Jack Handey.
By Jack Handey. Yeah, I agree. I like these topics can be hard to talk about, right? Because you get sort of the one side versus the other, and oh no, the panic and fear. Recession is such a bad word and all that, but it's important. As a business owner, you have to look at what's going on now. You can't put your head in the sand. It's way too costly. It's all on you. If if you don't find a way to continue going, you're out. You don't have anything to fall back on. So, yeah, hopefully you like this video. I agree. Please give it a like if you liked it. Share it with somebody if you think they could get something out of it. Make sure you join the Discord running along the bottom there in the link, and try to join us live every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you're watching this recorded, we'd love to have you live. As you can see, we interact with the chat, and it gives you a chance to sort of be a part of the show, which is a lot more fun. But with that, that's all I've got for this week. So remember, you can't sell what you don't list, even in a recession. See you next week.